Welcome back to the channel. It's time to talk about the very best comic books that you could get this week. This is easily the best week we've had in probably a month, maybe 2 months. Certainly the best DC week we've had in ages, it feels like. And here talking to me about that is Drew from Comic Sleep. How you doing, Drew?
Doing great, Wes. Getting ready to launch Born in Blood 3 next week, but I still have time to talk about some new comics and good comics. So let's do that. Let's talk about some good comics this week.
Let's start with the indie comics first. I'm going to recommend Nemesis Reloaded #1 from Marc Millar. Jorge Jimenez from Image Comics, a reimagining of the Nemesis character. He's always been a pretty nasty villain, and when we see him, he's chopping heads off. He seems to be very much on his A game. The art by Jorge Jimenez really elevates the character, in my opinion. He's using hits on the mob to bring out cops that he also wants to kill. Not exactly the most flattering imagery of cops, but Nemesis is a very bad character, and this is from his point of view. So I don't necessarily think this is an anti-cop comic book, but I can understand how some people could come away with that. But I thought it was a lot of enjoyment if you like some really dirty stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you hit the nail on the head with the cop sentiment. If they read the first volume, you would know this is what the character does. That first volume of Nemesis, he went after all the top cops around the world. So this is par for the course. But I would say, in the past year or so, we've seen a serious depleted pool of truly evil villains. They all turn out being misunderstood, become good guys. But thank God for Marc Millar. He's reintroducing us to his character Nemesis, who is truly evil. And we really see how truly evil this guy is. No redemption, no wanting to be BFFs, no misunderstanding. He is a criminal who hates cops. He's going to pay random civilians. I don't want to say it. I'm not going to spoil it. Don't want to spoil what happens. But just you're going to be shocked. You're going to be surprised. The art is terrific. This is the comic book series with a true villain that we've all been waiting for a long time. Yeah, Nemesis Reloaded #1 is fantastic.
If you're a fan of Marc Millar, this absolutely delivers what you would expect from Marc Millar, trying to highlight a villain because he's very, very evil. Comes off that way. Very exciting stuff. Jorge Jimenez doing great stuff there. That's the only indie comic that we're going to recommend this week. Let's move over to Marvel. We got a couple there. I must say I'm going to recommend Moon Knight #19 from Jed MacKay, Federico Sabatini. But this series, which is the best ongoing series at Marvel, is absolutely losing steam. I'm not really certain what the point of this comic book is in particular, but it is enjoyable. The art does look good. I guess we do get to see the Zodiac with his new, therapist or whatever, giving away parts of his personality like we've been seeing with Moon Knight for the past year and a half or so. So I guess that's juxtaposition there, but if you want to see Moon Knight and Hunter's Moon kind of go after some people with the expansive mining operation that I'm not sure how it actually got there, it's enjoyable fun, but I hope they find a new direction and a new purpose for Moon Knight moving forward, because this kind of feels like it's stalling out.
No, you're right. It really is. It really feels like, I don't want to say it's hitting the brakes, but it really feels like, let's get somewhere quick, because it just feels like it's kind of meandering right now. But there were some big revelations into the costs of resurrection for the Fist of Khonshu in this. And we get to see maybe how this could be the last one for a certain fist, but we'll see what happens. They get deeper into the enemy threshold, and they may end up facing a little resistance. It's good. It's not great. It's not bad. It's one of the weaker issues of Moon Knight, but not the weakest. But yeah, it's still a recommend. But hopefully it does pick back up some steam.
Yeah, hopefully Jed MacKay comes out with something new to do with Moon Knight with some more purpose in it. There's some interesting concepts there, but he feels like he's in a little bit of a holding pattern or something. I'm not really sure why. The other Marvel comic that you're really recommending this week, Avengers War Across Time #1, Paul Levitz of DC Comics publishing fame, Alan Davis, an artist that needs no introduction. Alan Davis, not quite peak Alan Davis art, back in the day, but it's still very good. And if you're looking for the Avengers, like a real Avengers story that feels like Avengers, like not Jason Aaron Avengers, this is probably going to be the comic book for you.
This is the cure-all. This is the penicillin shot to anything and everything Jason Aaron has done the past 5 years on Avengers. This will clear it all right up. This is how you flippin' do it. You got two legends working on the Avengers, and you get a 100% kick-ass, one flippin' good fight the whole way through. Levitz and Davis killed it in this. Avengers versus the Hulk. Enough said. I don't want to spoil what happens in that fight. It's so much fun. Alan's art is still really damn good. Like you said, it's not his best, but it's still really damn good compared to other artists I've seen. but it blows almost everything else out of the water. I cannot recommend this enough. This is what we've wanted from the Avengers, and they deliver.
If you are tired of the Jason Aaron stuff and Avengers Assemble is not your thing, go check that one out. It is a very nice little break from the crap going on right now with the Avengers. Now let's go over to DC Comics because this was their week. This is the best DC week we've had in quite some time. The events that they came out with actually delivered. The things that have been ongoing actually delivered. None more so probably than Batman and the Joker, the Deadly Duo #3, Marc Silvestri writing and illustrating this one. There is not as much action as I expected in this comic book, but boy does Marc Silvestri make up for it with character work and really cool detective work being done by Batman. We have some horrific transformations going on here and there, and they're starting to explain why all this is happening, and the art by Marc Silvestri is as good as you would expect it to be, and for a comic book with not a ton of action, I was thrilled the entire way through. I just could not put it down.
But yeah, this book is unputdownable. What was also great about it is how suspenseful and thrilling it is when you have Batman and, there's a death trap and Batman has to save some people, and it may or may not go the way you think it's going to go. And it's terrific. The art in this, once again, Marc is firing on all cylinders with his art. And I have not seen him this consistently sharp in decades. Like, we're going back to like New X-Men, probably before New X-Men, just how sharp his art is right now. You guys don't want to miss this. I know there's some people who've complained about the art, but look, guys, he's going straight from pencils to colors. It looks amazing. This is the best Batman we've seen in a very long time. And the pages are amazing. There's a great double pager in here. You guys got to check it out yourselves. I'm not going to spoil it. I couldn't put it on my best of list for 2022 since we're only 2 issues. Didn't seem right. But as of right now, after this 3rd issue, it's probably going to be in my best right now for best of 2023 for right now, because you guys, this is how you do Batman consistently. This is past everything Chip's doing right now. Please do read this if you haven't checked it out.
This is how you live up to the hype. DC Comics and Marc Silvestri are absolutely doing that one. I feel bad for Doc that he swore off new comic books. Marc Silvestri is his favorite artist, and he's missing out on like this great Marc Silvestri Batman series. But that's Doc, his call. Hopefully he gets to pick it up in trades later.
Do it, Doc. Do it now.
Now let's go over to another big DC event that's popping off right now. Flash 790, Jeremy Adams, Roger Cruz, primarily on art. But we also have Matt Banning and Wellington Davis in here. If you are a Flash fan and you didn't know when to jump onto the series since Jeremy Adams taken over, this is the issue where you jump on. He catches everybody up. Fans that have been reading this might be a little bit put off, but I quite enjoyed it. It really celebrates the family atmosphere going on within the comic book series, and it does set up the villain. We have an alien invasion, and it makes sense why the Flash and the Flash family have to take care of it, because they're either slowing down time or they're speedsters themselves. The perfect foil for the Flash family. They need to all be there. Really exciting stuff. I thought they pulled it off very well. I don't like the art as much as Fernando Passman, but the art is still very good.
Yeah, absolutely. And we talked about it on the aficionado. Someone brought it up because he's fast. The artist is fast. He's efficient. Delivers on time. And I really think this is going to be it looks like it's going to be a weekly series, a weekly book. And hey, want to get this out weekly? This is the guy to do it. And it's still a solid art, but yeah, it's a different art style from what we're used to, which is kind of sad, but still, it's still quality art at the same time. Yeah, the story is great to jump in on. I know, I think that the sales have been a bit down for Flash, probably because of the high number and people don't know where to jump in on with this. But I think they are trying to make this the big jumping on book for everyone. And I can't blame them from that because it's a great jumping on book. And because we got time freezes, death, destruction, dogs and cats living together, mass hysteria. And it looks like there may be a big death at the end of this issue. Maybe we'll see what happens. But yeah, it does a great job of introducing you to the conflict and the Flash characters. You got my boy Max Mercury in here. That was great to see him again. Outside of the little commentary about barbecue and meatless barbecue, it's still a fun jumping on issue.
I cannot recommend this stuff any higher. This is why we read comic books, for great stuff like The Flash from Jeremy Adams. We've also got Batman: The Adventures Continue, Season 3, Part 1. Alan Burnett, Paul Dini, Jordan Gibson on this one. If you're a fan of the Batman, the animated series, this is a continuation of that. Paul Dini is involved, so you know it's going to be true to the character and all that kind of stuff. And these are just really fun comic books. This is the kind of stuff that you can read with your kids.
Absolutely, 100%. You're correct. We read through this, Kyle and I, my brother, on our top 10 list. And we said it literally just felt like you just jumped right into an episode of the animated series, and it was fun all the way through. We had some new characters in here. One guy is a hitman named Muscle. He's making a plea deal with the Gotham police to take down Salvatore Valestra's daughter. Salvatore Valestra from Mask of the Phantasm, great animated movie. And she's taken over his criminal empire. But it looks like that her mob family, they may be making a move against this hitman. We get crosses, double crosses, and return of an animated series villain I haven't seen in a hot minute. By the end of this, there may be even a bigger twist with the hitman. Very fun and fast-paced read. If you love the animated series, you're going to love this issue. Great jumping on issue, great art. Please do check this out. Batman, The Adventures Continue, Season 3, number 1.
It is a great time to be a fan of like 90s cartoons and stuff like that. You've got the Batman the Animated Series continuation with The Adventures Continues. You've got the Saturday morning adventures with G.I. Joe first. Now we got TMNT. So if you're a fan of those cartoons, it is a good time to be a comic book fan because they're all being continued. And we have Gargoyles from Greg Weisman coming out from Dynamite. There's lots of stuff out there for you right now. The last recommendation, I've already talked about this in full on the channel. Lazarus Planet Alpha number 1, Mark Waid, Riccardo Federici. I had no expectations of this being good or important coming into it. Yes, Mark Waid has been very hot. The concept itself didn't seem all that smart to me, but the execution, I cannot deny that it was very, very good. Riccardo Federici brings a little bit of a different flavor to a DC Comics event. It felt different. It's unfortunate Mark Waid's not going to be writing all of this, but for one issue at least, it felt pretty damn good. I don't know that it's going to be important, but it's good. That's the important thing. Absolutely.
Yeah, like you said, it's a shame we're not going to. I mean, can you imagine Mark Waid and Riccardo Federici doing this an issue each week, one part a week? I don't think we could handle that. That'd be too amazing, honestly, especially Riccardo's art in this. Riccardo's art in this is out of this world, and his style fits this story going on right now with magic going out of control, because if you read The Last God, written by Philip Kennedy Johnson, it fits perfectly into this with his art style. And so yeah, the world's going to crap with the magical explosions because of what happened on Lazarus Island. Damian's trying to save his dad, Batman. It's also great seeing Blue Devil back in action. It's been a while since I've seen Blue Devil, and he's drawn beautifully in this. And also for one of the first times, I actually liked Monkey Prince. He's written as a likable and sympathetic character because of Mark Waid. He did a great job bringing that out of the character. He did something Gene Yang couldn't do. And by the end of this, it looks like the world may have taken a darker turn, as well as Batman. Yeah, I cannot recommend this jumping on issue enough. Please do check this out. But I will say with a little asterisk, next week, prepare to lower your expectations a little bit. All right.
A lot bit.
Yeah, a lot.
Yeah. Unfortunately, the quality just isn't going to continue because Mark Waid's not associated with it. But Lazarus Planet Alpha is pretty darn good. He's going to be writing the Omega issue. Hopefully, Federici is going to illustrate that one as well. Those are our recommendations for this week. Easily the best week of 2023 so far, but it is early in the year. It's not like we've had a bunch of release weeks so far. But this felt like something good, especially for DC Comics. Drew, I do want to say thank you very much, sir. Do you have any final words?
Yes, please go to Kickstarter. Sign up right now for Born of Blood 3 Special Edition. We're supposed to be launching it this Wednesday. We're going to have some great, hot, exclusive covers. I'm very thrilled about this project, very thrilled about this series. I've had a blast writing this, and I hope you guys will have as much of a blast reading it as much as I had a blast writing it. Please do check this out, guys. You will love it.
As I mentioned at the end, I've already talked about Lazarus Planet Alpha in full, the things that I thought went really well. We discussed some of those here, just a very tiny bit, but I brought in Jim from Weird Science. He's a huge DC Comics fan, and we talked about the event, the issue, and how everything worked out, at least for the Alpha, from Mark Waid, Riccardo Federici. Definitely check this one out if you're on the fence about this issue, but don't expect much moving forward until the Omega. If you don't see the video here, there's also a link in the video description.